Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, I want to talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. We got news just yesterday that the star quarterback, future Hall of Famer, is going to be making his Jet debut against the New York Giants this Saturday in the final preseason game of the year. So I want to give you some of my thoughts, some of the things that I'm going to be looking for, and then we'll jump into some of your comment questions, things of that nature that you guys would like to see as well. So first up, first and foremost, who is starting on the offensive line? This is going to be a really big one for me. Who is, are we putting out our best 5 offensive linemen right now? Are we going to get to see Dwayne Brown start this game so he gets a little bit of work prior to going into week 1? Now, we've heard Aaron Rodgers say in the past that you don't need training camp, you don't need these sorts of practices because the veterans have done this for so long. It's more for the young guys. So maybe Dwayne Brown doesn't have to slot in a preseason game, but man, it would be very nice to at least have the 5 offensive linemen that we're hoping to put out week 1 to have at least played a few snaps together. So does Dwayne Brown start at left tackle? Then you got Tomlinson at left guard. Is it going to be him, or are they going to go with maybe Tippmann that we saw this past week? I heard rumors that you might be seeing Tippmann starting at guard on the offensive line, which starts getting your mind spinning. Is he starting for Tomlinson or is he starting for AVT? And then what happens with AVT? Is AVT going to a different spot? Lots of things that could potentially happen here. But Brown at left tackle, Tomlinson or Tippmann at left guard, McGovern, probably not Tippmann at center if I had to guess. I think when you have Aaron Rodgers under center, he's going to want a veteran center that has been there before. And we saw some of the snaps from Tippmann in the shotgun weren't necessarily great. I think he's going to be great as a blocker, and it's going to work out long term. I'm not concerned with Tippmann overall, but I think in the immediate future, having McGovern start at center is probably the right move. So go over to right guard. Obviously, we want to see AVT back in the lineup, but do we wind up seeing one of these backups? Wes Schleitzer, or whatever, however you say his last name, was starting there this past week. I would like to see AVT back in that lineup. And then you get to the right tackle side of things. Are we going to put Billy Turner out there, which is someone that Aaron Rodgers feels pretty comfortable with? Is it going to be someone like Max Mitchell, who's been starting on the offensive line the last few weeks? Or do we finally get to see the big ticket take over and get some first team right tackle reps every time this dude is on the field for the preseason? Like literally the 3 games. It was like, 7 snaps during the Browns game, 20 some odd snaps, and then almost 30 snaps, I think, this past game. Becton looks dominant. He looks back to form. Highway 77 going to run your ass over. We saw that one play where he did like the double clutch and just threw the dude to the ground. I want to see more of that aggressiveness from Mekhi Becton, and I would like to see him play with the starters, but then also kind of play, let's say he plays the whole first half. That would be something that I'd like to see if that stamina can really come up all the way. How does that impact Aaron Rodgers? Does he feel comfortable behind the line of scrimmage? You want to see at least 2.5 seconds worth of time for Rodgers to throw. Now, I believe the Jets have the shortest snap to throw time in the preseason as of right now, and I think I saw that at 2.3 seconds, and a lot of that has to do with the uncertainty on the offensive line and some of the offensive weapons that haven't really been playing. Like we've seen Hardman, we've seen Lazard, Corey Davis has been out there a little bit, but you haven't seen Garrett Wilson play. So I think some of that has to do with all of the, just where they want to be overall. And how can you feel comfortable with Aaron Rodgers behind the line of scrimmage? Because he goes down, a whole lot goes down the rest of the season. So you got to make sure he's protected. Number 2, timing with the receivers. We haven't seen Aaron Rodgers with this full complement of weapons. Even in training camp, Lazard missed a little bit of time. Corey Davis missed a little bit of time. Garrett Wilson missed a little bit of time. So how can that timing look? Are they getting in and out of their breaks at the right points? Are there miscommunications where like Rodgers is visibly throwing his hands up and like, well, what are you talking about? You ran that route based on this coverage. Why didn't you do that? I don't want to see that. I want to see them on the same page. We've seen it in training camp where they're humming on all cylinders, but then you'll see days where they're kind of stalling and the defensive line is dominating the Jets' offensive lines that we've put out there. So how does the wide receiver room, and let's include this to the tight ends and the running back rooms as well. I want to see these guys start to shake off some rust. I don't mind like a little bit of like, rats, it's just a touch off or something like that. That's fine with me. There's going to be some hiccups early on in the season, but we do not want to go into the beginning part of the year like Rodgers went in the last 2 years. They got smoked by Detroit, and they got smoked, or no, was it the Vikings? I think it was the Vikings and the Saints, or the Vikings and Lions. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but literally the last 2 week 1 games for Aaron Rodgers were not pretty. So you got to look good in week 3 or I guess for the Jets, week 4 of the preseason. Kind of looping those two in overall. Offensive line and timing with wide receivers is the pressure that's going to be coming at Aaron Rodgers. What do the Giants end up doing on their side of the defensive line? Are they going to be starting Leonard Williams and Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence? These guys got significant playing time in the last preseason game. It would stand to reason that the Giants and Dable may feel like they got what they got out of their starters. Let's put the backups in so the Jets don't get any extra reps against their starters, because we do play them in the regular season. I think there's a little bit of gamesmanship here, and us playing Rodgers in this game, does it create a little bit of a maybe disadvantage later on in the season? I don't necessarily think so, because the Jets played the Giants further into the season. I think it's the last Sunday in October, if I'm not mistaken. So things are going to change and evolve over the course of the next 8 weeks, but I don't really want to give the Giants any extra tape on our starters. I'm hoping this is a very quick in and out for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm hoping for 1 series. That's what I want. Complete the drive with a touchdown. I don't want to see this 3-and-out bullshit with offensive linemen jumping and holding penalties, and now all of a sudden we're in 2nd and 15, 3rd and 20. Like, I don't want to see those types of scenarios. I want Aaron Rodgers to take command of the offense. I want to see crisp, just like, I want to see boring football. I want to see us run the ball down the Giants' throat. I want to see us make some easy completions, tight ends, maybe a few slants, things like that, and then move into, closing out that drive. I want to see like an 8 to 10 plays. Let's go 65, 70 yards all the way down for a touchdown. Look dominant. Wash your hands. Say, all right, Aaron Rodgers, throw the headset on. Zach, you're going out the rest of the game. That's what I want to see. I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers come in and be like, oh man, 3-and-out right off the bat. Now we got to go back to the drawing board and see exactly what we want to do moving forward. Oh, okay, well, the second drive. Well, now the Giants' backups are backing up right now. Now you got second string, maybe third string in there. And I don't want to see the Jets have to struggle with their first team offense when you have the Giants not first team offense or not first team defense potentially out there. So I definitely don't want to see that. And number 4, I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers get hit. I'm going to be so mad if this dude just gets clobbered even once. Like, I don't want to see that. I want him to just, guys coming at you, throw it in the dirt. I don't care. Live to fight another day. There's no reason for you to wind up allowing a shot to happen in the Snoopy Bowl when there's some second or third string defensive lineman for the New York Giants that's just trying to make a name for himself. This is how you get starters hurt. So I do not want Rodgers to take 1 hit. I don't care if you have to grab a dude by the face mask and drag him down offensive line. Do not let anyone touch Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully you don't have to get the penalties, but do not let anyone touch our golden boy. Those are my 4 things that I'm really trying to look forward to if I'm the New York Jets and fans just trying to keep an eye out on the rest of the, this final game here. And we'll be doing the every throw for Aaron Rodgers. If you guys have any other players you want to kind of see, it's not easy to do. I don't make anything on it. So it's, I'm going to try and do the Aaron Rodgers every throw. We'll see if I do the rest of the, getting a call here. Ooh, I'll call him back in just a second. But we'll finish this up real quick. We'll talk to some of our people in the chat, see how you guys are feeling. Snowball, nice to see you the other day. He says, it'll take Becton a little longer to get used to the right side. He's still adjusting. It's progress. Yeah, I think him just getting out on the field is a good thing. I hope we get to see him for the full first half. And then if you want to maybe put, Billy Turner in there for week 1 because Rodgers feels more comfortable for him initially. But I like how they're kind of bringing Mekhi along. And I think he is one of, if not our most dominant offensive lineman when he's on the field. Hey, give me 2 seconds. I'll call you right back. That's what happens when you're live. People call you, and that's all right. Love you, Chris. Eric Craig says, Brown on the left, Becton on the right, Tomlinson on the left, AVT on the right, Tippmann at center. I would like to see that. I think McGovern's definitely going to start at center, though. That's kind of my gut feeling. Random man, is this live? You're damn right it's live. Zachary comes in, says Tippmann at guard, but he was injured last game. We won't know how he is yet. Yeah, that's true. I forgot that he hurt his knee and no one knew about it until after the game. I even did the every snap for Joe Tippmann and I couldn't figure out exactly where that injury wound up occurring. So I'm hoping obviously everything's fine. I'm like panicking every time I see some sort of like little blip of a rumor in a message board, like, oh, maybe this guy knows the doctor because it's his brother-in-law, and all of a sudden there's a torn meniscus thrown in there and he's going to be out multiple weeks. Hopefully that's not the case. I don't want to see those things. Zachary Berner says, Breece Hall playing too, and Diggs wants out of Buffalo. I didn't realize Breece was playing, but I like that. I like getting him a little bit of action before heading into week 1, as long as he's ready. I don't want, us to be like, oh, we got to put him out there just to put him out there. We got Dalvin Cook for a reason. But yeah, I saw Dalvin Cook, or not Dalvin Cook. I heard Stefon Diggs wants out of Buffalo. Stephen A. Smith said that on First Take today. Was it today? Yesterday? We'll see. I don't think he's going to force his way out of Buffalo, but I think he could be out of there after this season. James says, what are the chances Dwayne Brown plays in the final preseason game? I hope it happens. Percentage-wise, I have no idea. Larry Mays! What's up, Larry? I hope he doesn't get killed in the first 5 plays. Yeah, I don't want Aaron Rodgers to get clobbered. That's what it is. Don't want him to get clobbered. Eric. Rodgers takes a whole series with all the starters, marches down the field, scores a touchdown. Zach takes the second series with the starters and repeats. Then second string players come in. That would be the ultimate thing to see. Ed the Red says, oh yes, please, let's smash the Giants. Damn right. Larry follows that up with, are you guys going to the opener? I'll be in New Jersey, thinking about going, but it's going to be a zoo. Yeah, I'm definitely going to the home opener. I think my brother's flying up from Florida. I'm pretty sure. Reach out to me because we may possibly have a ticket. It kind of depends what my brother bought 2 tickets. I had 2 tickets, so it's kind of like a weird thing that's going on. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that, but yeah, we're definitely going to go for sure. Dwayne says, Ryan, who is the statue behind you? This is from Becca's grandmother's house. Where is it? Right there. Boom. This, I believe it's supposed to be David from David and Goliath, but there's an imprint in it that says Florence. I don't know if that's from Florence, Italy, but the name has been Florence, so it's Flo or Lawrence or Florence. Sometimes it'll wear a pilot's hat. Sometimes it'll wear the big cheese head pizza hat. Ed the Red says, McDonald on the edge. Boom. And Jones on his ass sacked. Yeah, I'm hoping we get to see a little bit more of our first team defense because we didn't see them at all throughout the beginning part of the preseason here. Random Man said, Stephen A. Smith just reported that Stefon Diggs wants out of Buffalo. Yes, I did see that. I don't know. I don't think he's going to shoot his way out the way some other players would have. I think he's going to play this year and they'll figure it out. I don't think there's actually a way for them to move him because of the contract that he has right now. Dwayne says, bad Juju Smith-Schuster vibes with the Snoopy Bowl. Yeah, I don't want anyone getting hurt. It scares the shit out of me. Ferris says he hears that Dwayne Brown's coming back this week. That would make me feel a little bit better. Timo says, heard it's a thigh bruise. I don't think that's Tittman. Tittman was a knee. I'm pretty sure the thigh bruise was Izzy. Larry says, do not want anything to do with Diggs. Yeah, no, I don't want him on our team, but I would like him out of Buffalo. That would be nice. He's really good. Astro says, I hope they keep Trey Dean and get rid of Ashton Davis. I actually really liked Ashton Davis. I thought he was, one of, if not our best player on the field from a defensive standpoint the other night. He kept making plays behind the line of scrimmage. I think he had 2 or 3 tackles for a loss. Like, pretty impressive day from Ashton Davis. Like, if there's someone that's going to be trying to save his spot, if he can get in on special teams, I was kind of penciling him in as a cut for cut down day, but who knows? I know a lot of people like Trey Dean. We just gave him a massive signing bonus, so I would be surprised if he wound up leaving. Maybe he makes the practice squad and Ashton Davis makes the roster. I don't know. Cashmere says, are all starters playing one drive or just Rodgers? I would bet you'll see some of this. I bet like Breece plays one drive. Garrett probably plays one drive with Rodgers. And then after that, you'll still get kind of the starters we saw in the past few games where you see the offensive line come out with Zach Wilson. I think Rodgers plays 1, maybe 2 series. I think it's 2 series if they like stall out early, but if they go down the field and they score a touchdown, he'll be 1 and done. And then Zach will come in and he'll play with the starters minus Breece, minus Garrett, And then I think you work it along those lines, because I think you want the offensive linemen to play a little bit more together. So if you're going to have Dwayne Brown in there for the first time, I would have him play at least, the first quarter, if not the first half. Brian says, wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers asked to play so he can get firsthand experience behind the starting line so he can give the best input. I mean, he's been playing behind the starting, quote unquote, offensive line in practice, so I think he should be able to provide some in-depth thoughts on it, especially since you're going against one of the best defenses in the league. It's not like the Jets have a shit defense and they're like, oh, we don't know who our offensive line is. No, you can kind of know based on how they play in practice. We'll see. I would like to see him in and feel comfortable and knowing with some confidence that he's going to have a good offensive line in front of him. Mr. Joe Blewett, Ryan's back to the OG channel. Don't you have work or something? I do not have work right now. We just had the baby like 2 weeks ago. Did I send you? I may not have sent you the picture, but we had the baby. And she's doing good. She's downstairs with Becca. I go back to work at some point in the next week or so, but I'm going back part-time. Not too shabby. Glad to have you in here, Joe. Ricky says, I also don't take much of what Stephen A says too seriously. No, you kind of got to, take it all with a grain of salt. Cuca Lake says, would you be upset or disappointed if Tittman gets the start at guard? No, I think the weird conundrum that we have is Laken Tomlinson has not played well, and he's kind of locked into this team through this year. So if you feel that Tittman is a better guard and AVT is a better guard, and you have those two starting in front of Aaron Rodgers, I could care less about the money that we're paying Laken Tomlinson. My question is, if Tittman's moving to guard, is it AVT kicking out to right tackle, or is it Tittman replacing Laken Tomlinson? That's the question for me. And I have no problem with really either one, because it means that the Jets feel comfortable moving those pieces around. I would like to believe it's because they believe in Mekhi Becton or whoever's going to be at right tackle. AVT staying at right guard, and then Tittman moves over to left guard. I would have no problem with that. Joe comes in. Joe says, Jets have 11 to 12 players with void years in 2026 and 2027. They are becoming the Saints. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. It's good to have some void years because that means you have players worth keeping right now, and you're willing to sacrifice some money in later years to work around it. And it also means you're going to rely a little bit more on the draft. And I think Joe Douglas has gotten a lot better at the draft since his first draft, if not his first two. Depends how you feel about Zach, I guess. P-Stew comes in and says, if the O-line is so bad, how did we score 27 points? I think they are being sneaky like New England. So we scored 27 points against the Panthers, and the Panthers aren't a very good team. They had the number 1 overall pick this past year. Yes, they did trade up, but they had a top 10 pick, and they're not really expected to be a very good team. Now, the Panthers' defensive line is pretty good, and the Jets were able to make some moves on that. But it's when you're going against the top-level AFC teams, you're going to need to have a good offensive line. And based on what I've seen in just practice from our offensive line, there is definitely some reason to be a little concerned. So I want to see some good offensive line play tonight or Saturday. Zachary says, I like Tony Adams guy. Did you see his pregame hype on Insta? I did not. I did not see that. Outside the echo chamber says, Laken had to take up the slack for Brown playing without arms. Maybe that's why Laken played poorly last year. And then he's going to actually play better this year. Peyton Jones says, what do you mean final? Do you mean final game of preseason or his final start ever? Oh, definitely only final game of the preseason. not his final start ever. He will absolutely be starting throughout the entirety of the season. Jake Asman fan says, you think that's subject to change depending on the O-line health? Are you talking about how many starts or how many drives he starts? I think if the offensive line looks good and they're giving him protection, maybe they consider like 2 drives, like, oh, okay, first drive was a field goal, second drive, we're going to try and get a touchdown. If that's the way they want to operate, I'm totally fine with that. But I do think that the Jets are going to try and get the touchdown the first time, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to sit out the rest of the preseason. You'll get to see Zach a little bit more. So, guys, let me know your thoughts. What are your big things you want to see from Aaron Rodgers in this final preseason game against the Giants? Clearly, we don't want to see him get hurt. We want to see some chemistry, but let's see what you guys want to, sort of check off on that box. Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.